Alright, so section 2.5, formulas and additional applications. So this is also application section for us, okay? So we need to know, okay, some geometry, okay, applications. Okay, we're going to look at some geometry applications, okay? So there are some formulas I need you, okay, we need us to review, okay, so for a rectangle, okay, if we know the length of the rectangle is L, the width is W, okay, width is W. So how to find the area of the rectangle? Area of the rectangle is calculated by what? Length times by what? Width, right? That's area, right? Area of a rectangle. How to find the parameter of a rectangle? Add up. Everybody give us a parameter, right? So it's going to be L plus W plus W. So it's going to be 2L plus 2W, right? So it's here on the notes. Okay, if you forget, that's fine. Okay, here. There's some common formulas to know, okay? Yeah, this one, rectangle, length W with length L with W. Area A equals length times width. Parameter equals what? 2 times L plus 2 times W, right? Alright, another very commonly used shape is called what? A triangle, right? Say, for a given triangle, we know the 3 sides of the triangle are A, B, and C. So how to find the parameter of the triangle? Add up. Yeah, you add them, okay? We add them. Add up every side. Okay, so A plus B plus C. However, to compute the area for a triangle, what should we do? We're going to use one side of the triangle to be our base. For example, we're going to use this side B as our base. Okay, so this is the base. Also, we need to know what? The height on the base. Okay, so H. Okay, CH. H is what? H is a height on this side. Okay, the height of this base B. So the area of this triangle equals what? 1/2 times by base times by height. Remember that?
Yeah.
You do? If you forget, fine. Okay, just refresh. Okay, base times by height on it times by 1/2 will be the area for this triangle. Okay. Yeah. Base B times height, and then times by 1/2. Right? Alright, so these are for the rectangle and triangle. For the trapezoid, okay, if in case we encounter some questions, need us to do the trapezoid. How to find the parameter of the trapezoid? Parameter is a sum of the length of every side, right? So parameter is what? Equals the sum of every side, right? That's a parameter. And do you still remember how we find the area for a trapezoid? What is the area for a trapezoid? There are 2 bases, right? Yeah, the sum of the 2 bases, lowercase b plus by capital letter B, right? Times by height, okay, H, and times by what? 1/2, okay? It's similar to the triangle, but for triangle, do we have this extra side? We don't have this side. We only have this side B, right? So the area for triangle is what? 1/2 times by what? H times B, right? Now for trapezoid, because we have this side B, so we're adding the side B, lowercase b, to the capital B, and then we times by height times by 1/2. Okay, so you know these, okay? You know that. We learned this before. This is not, I created this. This is like a given to us, okay? Alright, so these are the basic shapes, okay? We did a rectangle, we reviewed a triangle, and then this trapezoid, okay? There's something else we need to know before we try on the questions from this section, okay? Solving problems involving vertical angles and straight angles. Okay, we need to know what angles are called vertical angle, what angles are called what? Straight angles. I'm going to ask a volunteer to read this entire paragraphs about the vertical angles and straight angles. Who want to read? Whose turn? Jose?
Solve problems involving vertical angles and straight angles. Figure 13 show two intersection lines forming angles that are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. Angles 1 and 3 lie opposite each other. They are vertical angles. Another pair of vertical angles is 2 and 4. Vertical angles have equal measures. Consider angles 1 and 2. When their measures are added, we obtain 180. The measure of straight angle. There are three other angle pairs that form straight angles: 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and 1 and 4.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, so what kind of the angles are called vertical angles? If they stay opposite, okay, from this kind of, the graph, okay? So if we have two lines intersect with each other, so we have 4 angles, 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? 1 and 3 lies opposite with each other, so we call they are vertical angles, okay? And then 2 and 4 also lies what? Opposite each other, so 2 and 4 is also called a pair of what? Vertical angles, okay? Vertical angles have equal measures, okay? So for example, if angle 1 equals, say for example, 80 degree, how about angle 3? 80 degree as well. Okay, so vertical angles lie opposite with each other, right? They also have the same or equal measures, right? Alright, so what angles form straight angles? Do you understand straight angles? The sum, the straight angle has measures what? 180 degree, right? So, see, angles 1 and 2, okay? When we add 1 and 2, we get a 180 degree, which is straight angle. We call 1 and 2 is called what? Yeah, 1 and 2 form, or together, 1 and 2 form straight angles. And do we have other straight angles? You can see angle 2 and 3 form a straight angle. Angle 3 and 4 form straight angle. And angle what? 1 and 4 form what? Straight angle. You guys? Alright, so we're going to use this knowledge to do some calculations later, okay? Alright, this last objective is solve for a formula, okay, for a specific variable, okay? Say for example, everyone, if the formula is A equals L times W, where does this formula comes from? It is area of a rectangle, right? Area of a rectangle equals length times by width. Okay, so my question is, can we solve for W from this formula? Can we rewrite in terms of W? What does rewrite this formula in terms of W? Or solve for W? Solve for specific variable, or solving what? Just like solving a linear equation, but for W. Everything else, we consider they are just a letter, okay, just letter. So how can we solve for W from this formula? A equals L times W. How to solve for W?
Divide the W.
See? Now we consider L is a coefficient of W. We solve for W means isolate W. So how to isolate W on one side of the equation? We want this L disappear, right? The relationship between L and W now is multiplication. So how can we get rid of L? If we divide L from both sides, what do you think? Then we have W alone. So we say, W equals what? A divided by L. This is we solved for W already. Solve for something means isolate something, right? Alright, now let's check our notes questions, okay? Notes questions. Alright, so on the page, second page of the question, we'll look at question 3 together. Daniel, can you read question 3 for us, please?
The perimeter of a triangle is 37 feet. One side of the triangle is 2 feet longer than the second side. The third side is 5 feet longer than the second side. Find the lengths of the 3 sides.
Okay, thank you. This question will talks about what? What shapes? Are we talking about square, triangle, rectangle, trapezoid? What figure are we talking about? Triangle. So if we encounter triangle, we can draw a picture of it, right? We can draw a picture of it. Triangle has 3 sides, right? What is aim for us? We want to find the length of the 3 sides. That's our aim, right? Do we know any? No, we don't know any. But we know one side of the triangle is 2 feet longer than the second side. Third side is 5 feet longer than the second side. So the first side is compared with the second side. Third side is also compared with the second side. So if we will assign variable to the 3 sides, which side should we assign x to? First one compare with second. Third one compare with the second. So we are going to let the second side to be what? X. Okay, second side to be x. So the first side is going to be what?
37 feet.
Parameter is 37. Means the sum of the 3 is 37. One side is 2 feet longer than the second. If the second side is x, what is this first side? 2 feet longer.
2 plus
Yes, x plus 2, yes. If x is x feet, first side is x plus 2 feet. So if we add x is second side, then we know our first side is what? The other, yeah, x plus 2, right? How about third side? Third side is 5 feet longer than the second side.
So it'd be 5 plus 5. I mean, it's x plus 5.
Yes, hooray! So now we know the 3 sides. How can we solve for x? Let's build an equation. Parameter equals 37 feet.
So equals 37.
The sum of these 3 sides equals what? 37, right? So we add up the 3 sides, x by x plus 2 by x plus 5 is 37. Let's solve for this equation, please. When we have parentheses, we have to get rid of the parentheses, right? X plus parentheses, but the good thing is before the parentheses we have what? Addition, right? So when we get rid of the parentheses, we don't have to worry about changing signs for the terms. So we have x plus 2 plus x plus 5 equals 37, right? Now, any like terms on the left-hand side?
Yes.
X, 3x, right? 2 plus 5 give us what? 7 equals 37. What do we do now?
Minus 7.
Minus 7, 3x equals what? 30. And divide by 3 from both sides, so x equals what?
10.
10. Okay, 10 feet. This is the first side, 10 feet. How about this is the second side. This is one of the 3 sides, it's 10 feet. How about the other 2 sides? X plus 2 give us what? 12 feet, 51 feet. So are these the correct answer for the length for the 3 sides? Let's check. The parameter equals 37 means we add up 10 by 12 by 15. Is the sum of these 3 numbers equals 37?
Yeah.
10 plus 12, 22. 22 plus 15, 37. Okay, so one side is 2 feet longer than the other side. Okay, so 12 is 2 longer. And then 15 is what? 5 feet longer than 10. So check. Correct. Right? Alright, so let's look at the question 4. Okay, let's look at the question 4. Find the mirrors of each marked angle. X plus 3 degree, 5x minus 3 degree. How to solve for x? These two angles form what? Straight angles. So that means the sum of these two angles equal what? 180 degree, right? So we have x plus 3 plus 5x minus 3 equals what? 180. Right? Yeah, these two angles form straight angles, sum equals 180, right? Yeah, please solve for this question, okay? I'm just going to give you a hint, okay? Take some time to solve for it. Question 4b. How to solve for x? What's the relationship between these two angles? They're called vertical angles, right? Because they lie oppositely. What's the relationship between vertical angles?
Aren't they equal the same?
Yeah, they mirrors the same. So we should have 5x plus 18 equals 7x minus what? 40, right? Solve for this equation by yourself in group later, okay? So this is just a build equation. You solve for them in a later time. Alright, now let's look at question 5. Cameron, can you read the question for us, question 5?
The area of the triangular kite is 405 inches square, and the height of the kite is 18 inches. Find the base of the kite.
Okay, go ahead. Thanks. Triangle, right? Area is given. What is the formula to compute the area for a triangle?
And times what?
Yeah. A equals what? 1/2 times by what? Base B times by height h, right? Okay, area equals 405 given. Height on the night is 18. Say for example, if we're using this as our B, this is a height. Height is what? 18.
18.
We want to find what? We want to find B, the base, right? Okay, so what do we do? From the formula, plug in numbers. What is area A? 405 equals 1/2 times by B. Do we know B? No. But do we know H?
Yes.
Yes. See, the right side is 1/2 times B times 18 equals 405. So how can we solve for B? Can we simplify the right side? Looks so fancy, so complicated. 1/2 times by 18, can we simplify? 6?
No, it's 9. Sorry.
Yes. So 9 times B equals 405, right? How to isolate the B? How to solve for B? 9 times, right? So what do? In order to let the line disappear, we what? Divide by 9 from both sides. So 9 cancel out. So B equals, what's 405 divided by 9? 405 divided by 9, let's do it on the side. 4 times 9 is 36. 445 divided by 9 give us what? 5, right? Okay, inch. Okay, yeah. So base B equals 45 inch. It's not that difficult, right? I don't think so. But we need to know the formula, we need to know what are the given information, and we solve for the unknown, right? You guys?
Do we have to plug in that 45?
You can check, okay, we can check. Say if B equals what? 45. What is H? 18. Let's check. The area equals what? 1/2 times by 45 times by 18. So you can use your calculator, okay? So times 1/2, which is 0.5, right? By 45 by 18 and check whether the product equals 4 or 5 or not. Use a calculator, check it. 1/2 is 0.5, right? 0.5 times by 45 times by 18. Do you get 4 or 5 or not?
Yeah.
You do, right? So you check, okay? So that means, oh, the base B is indeed a 45 inch, right? Alright, the hard part from this section is to solve for a formula, okay? Yeah, solve for a variable from a formula, okay? So we have these questions, okay? I'm going to pick up some questions and I want you to practice, you know. Let's try question C. Question D and question F together, okay, together. Then you practice the rest, okay. From this formula, P equals 2L plus 2W, solve for W. Let me check whether I have a red pen or not. Solve for W. Solve for W means isolate W, right? How can I isolate W now? We have a 2L there. Do you like 2L stay with W? No. So we need the 2L disappear. How? What's the relationship between 2L and W? 2W now? Adding, right? So to let 2L disappear, we have to subtract 2L from both sides, right? Use a reverse action. Okay, reverse action. If we're adding, then subtract it, okay? So, from both sides, subtract by 2L. Subtract 2L from both sides. Left-hand side, we should have what? P minus 2L, right? Right side, 2L minus 2L is gone, right? So we have what? 2 times W. So how to isolate W right now? We want, yeah.
Divide 2.
Yes. We want to disappear. The relationship between 2 and W is multiplication. So we use a reverse action, which is division. Done. W equals P minus 2L divided by 2. You may leave this answer here. Well, if you want to simplify it, how to simplify this? If you want to run for one more step, well, you don't have to. P over 2 give us what? P halves. Minus, what's 2L over 2?
Minus 1.
2L over 2. Negative L, right? So it's P over 2 minus L. Well, I would suggest you just leave this answer here, because sometimes if you keep on, simplifying, you make more mistake. Okay? Oh, okay. Alright, so this is question C. Any questions about question C? Question D. Solve for C. Please give it a try. Any suggestion to do the problem? Daniel, since you have some idea.
What I try to do is subtract 32 from each side, so it'll be F minus 32 equals 9 over 5C.
Times C.
Then
Yes.
divided?
Yes?
9 over 5?
Yes. And then divide by 9 over 5 from both sides, right? So 9 over 5 is gone, so we have a C, right? However, here, f minus 32 divided by 9 over 5, it's the same thing as what? F minus 2 times by what? 5 over 9, right? Divide by a fraction is the same thing as multiply this fraction, flip upside and down, right? So f minus 32 times by 5 over 9. Everybody? Alright, so let's try question F. Solve for H. Jose?
Oh god, yeah. So what I did was, I divided,
You divide by 2 pi r
actually, no, my bad. I did negative 2 pi r to the square.
Yes, subtract by 2 pi r squared from both sides, right? So left-hand side gives us s minus 2 pi r squared. Right side is 2 pi r times by h, right?
And then I divide.
Yes. 2 pi r, right? Wow, good. Good for you. Correct. Cameron?
Can you also simplify that too, so it will be s minus pi r squared then?
So,
Or would it be?
we want to simplify that. This is subtraction, right? So we let each of these divide by the 2 pi r. So if we want to keep on simplifying, it should be s divided by 2 pi r minus 2 pi r squared divided by what? 2 pi r, right? So 2 pi cancel. R cancel. So actually it's going to be s over 2 pi r minus r.
Oh, okay.
Or I would suggest you just leave it what it is here. But if you want to simplify, you use s divided by 2 pi r minus 2 pi r squared divided by 2 pi r and then simplify.
Okay.
Right? But here there's r left. There is an r.